Back at 9:16 on North Dakota Today, the latest research shows that more than 30% of Americans describe themselves as spiritual but not religious.
So does that mean people are turning their backs on traditional religion and going for philosophies, or are Americans just choosing to stay home on Sunday morning instead of going to church, which is a big question. Pastor Kermit Culver is with the Legacy United Methodist Church here in Bismarck, and he's here to help us sort some of this out. Good morning, Pastor Culver.
Nice to see you guys.
I gotta admit, when we first started talking about this, you ever seen that Norman Rockwell painting of the family heading off to church? Well, we've got a picture of that Norman Rockwell painting. The typical American family. No, that's not the right one.
That doesn't look like the typical American family.
Yeah, the mom and the kids are heading off to church.
Did that look like Norman Rockwell?
No. But Dad's kind of slouched down in his easy chair reading.
They're all leaving?
Yeah, as they're walking behind him on their way to church.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what it reminded me of. So
there it is.
There it is. You can see it right there. Dad in his chair, the rest of the family all in their Sunday best heading off to church. Anyway, so what's your take? I'm sure you've heard these stats on this.
Yeah.
What's your take on this?
Well, it's interesting. I think it's kind of a modern phenomenon. I don't remember hearing about spiritual but not religious growing up.
Yeah.
I think it's a real recent phenomenon, and I don't think it's far out of character from where we are sort of heading as a country and as a society and a culture in America. That it's kind of do your own thing and design your own religion.
Well, because I've heard that so many times.
Yeah.
You know, I am more able to commune with God when I am out in the woods walking or sitting by a lake than I am sitting in a church being irritated by
preachers.
Yeah. Well, all right. So it's a relatively new phenomenon. Yeah. So is this an indictment of churches today?
Partly. I part of what's driving it is I think. You probably heard the quote, I like God, but I'm not sure about God's followers. I'm not, crazy about, I like his Jesus. I'm okay with Jesus, but I'm not so crazy about his fan club.
Yeah.
And I think that's legitimate because, I mean, you see the news. We all have seen the news of all these different tragedies that were perpetuated by leaders in the church. And so I don't fault people for choosing spirituality over religion. And the question the question is not whether you can worship God on the golf course or on the river fishing or not. It's do you?
Right.
That's the question. Yeah, you can. You can worship God any place. But so the greater question for me is by people that are sort of designing their own personalized religion, who are they really worshiping?
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Who are they really worshiping? They're worshiping some idealized sense that they've created about what spirituality looks like.
So you're saying it's part of the ego then?
It is. And I think it's really about the whole consumerist mentality that I can design my life the way I want to and make it the way I want to. And there's a certain half-truth in that. I mean, there's a part of the reason why we practice the religions that we practice is because there's some benefit to us. There's some reason that we do that, right?
There's benefit, if I could jump in with this, there's benefit in a spiritual practice.
Correct.
In ritual.
Right.
Okay, there's a benefit in that. The second benefit is there's benefit in the congregation and fellowship.
Yep, that's part of what gets missed. I think you also miss the historic part of the tradition. I'm one of the least traditional guys that I know. But there is some genius to the fact that this Judeo-Christian religion that predominates our culture in America has existed for thousands of years.
Right.
And that we're sort of buying into that. And when you divorce yourself from that and abandon that and to go create your own thing, you've cut yourself off from a lot of really good. Right. And obviously there's a lot of bad stuff that happens in the name of religion. We see it beheading people in the Middle East, and we see it all over the news.
All right. We're going to take a quick break here on North Dakota Today, and we'll continue when we come back. Stick around.